Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're taking a look here at the Master Grade Duel Gundam Assault Shroud. Now, of course, as you're seeing it now, it's not in its Assault Shroud form, but I wanted to show it to you just in its sort of naked form, or simple form, or base form, I guess, first, before we throw on all the Assault Shroud armor on top of that. Because as I said in the unboxing, I think most people who are going to want to buy this kit are going to want to display it with the extra armor on, with the Assault Shroud equipped onto it. But for those of you who maybe don't, or do just prefer it in its more simpler form like this, I want to give ample time to reviewing just the base kit here and showing you guys some stuff that you can do with just the base kit first before we throw on all the extra armor, and then we'll see about all that stuff as well. So building the kit was a lot of fun. Of course, it does share a lot of similar parts to the Blitz, which I just reviewed previously, but there are a lot of new parts on here, as well as just some parts of the frame are just different. I guess canonically, someone pointed out in the unboxing video that this is the first actual Gundam to use this particular frame in canon, so this was like the original, and the Blitz and other things like the Strike came later on. So that was kind of interesting. Thank you to you guys. For those of you who take the time to comment about some interesting backstory about some suits and things like that, just fill me in on some of that kind of information. Thank you to those of you who do that. I appreciate just kind of learning some more about that, because I'm just kind of too lazy to go read the wiki myself. But aside from the Assault Shroud, you do of course have some other basic weapons and things included in here as well, so let's take a look at the other accessories here first. Alright, so you've got this big sheet of marking stickers here, of which I've put a couple of them on the kit. You can see the ones that are going to go here on top of the lighter color armor don't look too bad, in that you can't like see the outline of the sticker all that much, but then you can't really see the actual design all that well either, because it's like in a sort of light blue on top of gray, so it's not really all that visible. And then the yellow ones, again, kind of look okay on the lighter color. On the darker color though, yeah, not so much. And this sticker was really weird. It gave you the front part and it gave you the two back parts, and the middle part was actually not cut out, so I had to cut that out myself. It was really weird how that was cut here on the sticker sheet. But anyway, so take it or leave it, you got some of these, and some of them go on the outside of the Assault Shroud as well, so you've got a bunch there. But then again, you do have this nice sheet of dry transfers as well, with a whole bunch of markings on there, and then a whole bunch of just caution markings as well in white, blue, and red. Of course, we've got an action base adapter, and our 1/100 scale Isaac Jewel pilot figure here, very nice. And just like with the Blitz, we've got a whole set of swappable fingers here, so you've got these that make closed fists. Then you've got a set of holding fingers here for the beam sabers, basically. You've got trigger finger hands for the left and right, which you could actually use for some dual wielding if you want. And then open extended fingers here as well. We've got our two clear pink beam saber effect parts here. The beam saber blades or handles are stored up there on the backpack. We've got the shield. Now, as far as I know, it's exactly the same as with the Strike Gundam, but obviously just in different colors. You've got the handle here, which doesn't actually move. You have to pull this part out, take it out, and then you can reattach that here like that onto there. So if you want to have that actually holding onto the hand, otherwise it just plugs onto the back of the arm there, and that can be rotated around like that. And some nice detail on the underside of this. And on that note, where is an easy enough piece of armor I can pull off of this? One thing I've been noticing about these Master Grade seed kits that I've been building this past week is that a lot of them have a ton of detail on the underside of the armor. Now, this particular piece is not quite as detailed, but you can still see how it has like the little circle and this little like space detail, these little details molded on the inside of the armor. They all have a ton of detail like this molded on the inside of the armor, which is quite strange, but I guess if you wanted to display like some parts with the armor off or something, you've got some good opportunities for that. Alright, but then for his weapons, he's got the main beam rifle here, which is pretty cool. It's supposed to have a clear piece in there for the lens, but I actually lost that in the building process, so be careful, don't be like me. I lost that, but I can still stick the green sticker up inside of there. It'll be fine. I have extra like option lens parts I can ultimately use for that later on. Also, don't be careful not to lose this extra little piece here. That gray piece is sort of like the cap, I guess, for the scope. It's just supposed to be stuck in there, like it's folded back like that. Like the 2.0 Zaku kits, I believe, also I'll have this for the bazooka as well. But anyway, just be careful of that tiny little piece. This rocket missile thing here on the bottom can be disattached. You can just have it like that. If you wanted to have this like flying off, just make a little effect part for that or something. But then we've got the big boy bazooka here. So this one also has a couple of little green stickers there. That is a clear part underneath there, so if you want to just keep that clear, whatever, you've got that up inside there. Otherwise, use the foil stickers. And yeah, this bazooka is pretty awesome. I love the design of this. It's very large, and the handle does move forward and back here, so you can get that up over the shoulder with no problem. So this thing is really cool. Whether you're going to be using this with just the base kind of like this, that'll be looking pretty awesome, or of course with the fully armored up Assault Shroud version, it's going to be looking pretty big. So before we get into trying out some cool poses with this guy, let's just quick go through some of the articulation. So for the head, got a pretty nice neck joint there that will allow you to bring the head up pretty nice and far like that, up there all the way to there. down to there. To open up the cockpit hatch, you've got a couple pieces. This part folds down, this part kind of slides out and opens up like that. And up inside you can see we've got our seated pilot figure up inside there. As for the stomach section, it's basically the same as the Blitz. You can go backwards a little bit like that, but the forward crunch is going to be a little bit better, quite like that. And then we've got the same here, side to side, like that, all very good, and some rotation there. Just a little bit though, it's not really full rotation, it seems to be kind of blocked by this back skirt part there, so it's going to be rotating just a little bit to the side there, a little bit to the side there, but that's pretty much the extent of that. The shoulder will pull forward out to there, pretty good. This part here on the side of the shoulder will rotate a little bit up and down. This part on the top of the shoulder will also open up like that. The whole shoulder armor itself will move up on its own like so. You can bring the arm up and extend that joint up really nice and high, so that's a really nice upward movement there at the shoulder. Otherwise the arm just has standard rotation at the top, double joint at the elbow to give you a nice full, basically 180-degree bend there. And the wrist is just on a ball joint, the fingers are swappable, and the thumb is also just on a little ball joint there. The front skirts, these tiny little things here do move up and down a little bit like that, but when it's got its full shroud armor on, that gives it actual like full-on front and back skirts, so we'll see that a little bit later. These side skirts do also move up and down a little bit like that. The back skirt, again, like the front skirt, there's not really anything there, but except for this one, this back skirt, they don't move at all. It's just one solid piece fixed there like that. But just going back up to the backpack here quickly, each of these 4 thrusters you can move up and down a little bit. So these top ones you can move up and down like that. The bottom ones you can point down a little bit or up a little bit like that. Just minimal movement there, but those can be moved around a little bit. And the beam saber handles can also be rotated. This beam saber mount can be rotated and you just pull the beam saber off. It's gonna look like that. Again, like with the Blitz, you've got the hip joint on a track that can be swung down a little bit to get further upward movement there for a nice far kick up to the front. The knee, once again, nice double joint to give us a full 180-degree bend there. Nice separation of the knee armor as well. And then down here at the ankles, this little tiny bit of ankle armor is just stuck there onto the front of the foot, so that doesn't move at all. But the ankles themselves, you have like a double joint there, basically a double polycap ball joint there, so you get those to the side like that, which is really not all that much to the other side like that. So I guess it's kind of okay. Yeah, it's pretty decent, I guess, side to side, but you're not gonna be able to get it like too super wide, but wide enough, I suppose. Forward movement up to there, back down to there, and the toe does also move separately on this one, up and down a little bit like that. So pretty good downward point there for the toe. Up underneath the feet, again, basically the same detail as we saw with the Blitz. Alright, and I gotta say, I was thinking like, I was kind of not really too impressed with this form. I mean, it's cool, and the base kit is really super solid. The articulation is great. I mean, everything seems just rock solid on it so far, and the weapons and everything is all really good. But I was still thinking like, I don't really care all that much for this particular form. I'm much more excited about getting all the armor onto it and just seeing it in its full Assault Shroud form. But I gotta say, this form certainly is growing on me a lot. Now, I just kind of like the base simplicity of it, and it's just kind of really nice, solid, simple. It poses really well. The weapons are cool. It's like just like the basic weapons: sword, shield, rifle, bazooka, but they're all just like just a little bit cooler than usual. I mean, the beam saber is pretty much the same, but and the shield, like I said, is the same as pretty much what we get with the strike. But the beam rifle and the bazooka especially are both really cool, and just this whole take on the Gundam, minus all the red, is cool too. It's a cool take on the color scheme. It's not your typical Gundam color scheme with just the white being light gray, and then you just got obviously a bunch of blue and just a little bit of that kind of orange, yellowish orange color, and no red or anything on there. So I like it a lot. This is a really cool kit so far, and even just without the Assault Shroud armor on it, I mean, this is one of those where you have the option. It's nice having the option in the box, but it almost makes you want to have to end up getting 2 of the kit, so you can have one with all the Assault Shroud armor on and then one with all the armor off. I gotta say, it's gonna be tempting to get 2 of these for sure. But alright, so here it is with all of the Assault Shroud armor mounted on there. It does look pretty cool, obviously looking drastically different in just how much more bulky it is and how much more of that light baby blue color is on there. And not, I mean, the color is okay. I think it's fine. It works well enough with this, but if you're not really a fan of that color, then might want to maybe repaint these parts. But it does make this look drastically different from how it did before, and very cool, very unique look to this. Now, before we get into trying out some poses with the Assault Shroud, just as far as hooking it all up, putting it all onto the kit, it's very simple. There's nothing really too tricky about it. I have been warned by a lot of you guys in the unboxing. You mentioned about how the front skirt part of that doesn't like to stay on very well. So if you really want to have that just stuck on there forever, maybe just use a little bit of glue. I haven't experienced it falling off very easily on mine yet, but just know that it seems to be a problem that a lot of people who have the kit are aware of, who have struggled with that. But let's go in for a closer look. There's some cool things to point out about the armor too. Alright, so a few things about this. The cockpit hatch does still open up. You can open up this part and fold this whole part then down, and then you can still get to the cockpit hatch basically the same way that opened up before. Up here on the shoulder, you have a little foil sticker there, and I forgot to mention other foil stickers just here on the eyes and the head camera. As usual, though, you got those there, but that opens up. You got the missiles in there. Nice color separation for those, looking very good. Back around here on the back, we have a bunch more added thrusters, all looking really cool. These bits will move up and down. This part here and this part here at the top moves up and down like that. You have these little, I guess, little extra missiles or something there on the side of there. And then down here at the leg, this part opens up a little bit like that, so that will just move, revealing a little bit more like vent detail up inside there, but those parts look really nice. You have the gray parts on the underside of there too, so nice detail onto there. So again, pretty much everywhere on the outside and in the inside, all these parts just have a lot of really nice detail on them. And then as for the cannon up here on the other shoulder, that can be rotated and moved up and down. You can sort of like kind of change the angle of that there as well. So the articulation's all really nice, but you can also take this off and just use it as a handheld beam rifle as well. So you got this off, and then the handle, which will fold down from the back there like that, and then this can just be held in the hand as an extra beam rifle as well. So that's pretty awesome. Alright, and then just for a quick simple comparison, here it is with the Master Grade Buster Gundam. Probably these are my favorite two designs from the Master Grade Seed line. I think they're awesome, and I gotta tell you guys, it's just a quick little story about this. When these kits were first coming out, I was living in Japan at the time, and I went to some local shop that I often went to there. I think it was a Volks actually in Nagoya. And they had a promotional picture there that I think was not something that was from Bandai. It was just something that the shop, or maybe it was something from a magazine or something, they had printed out there among the display just as like a promotion for these kits that were just recently out at the time. And they had a really awesome picture of the two of these kits just stood like back to back, and like it was really dramatic lighting, everything. It looked so awesome, and just from that moment I still remember that picture, and I just think of how cool these two kits look together just based off of that I saw just at that time. And it's really awesome to finally have the two of them together. Gotta say, not disappointed at all. Both of these kits are just fantastic, and together, even better. But that is pretty much going to do it for the review, guys. I gotta say, despite this kit being from 2012, now at the moment it's 7 years old, it doesn't feel like it at all. I mean, the detail on it is great, the articulation is great, the weapons are great. I don't really know how this kit really could have been any better, and there's really not anything negative to say about it, including the price, considering this kit is list prices at only 4,200 yen, so around $45 for this. Compare that to the Master Grade Gym Sniper 2, which came out recently, or well, relatively recently compared to this, which was, I believe, 4,500 yen, slightly more. So yeah, I think the price on this is definitely a bargain. You're definitely well getting your money's worth with this kit. How it compares to the Blitz, which we just took a look at before this, which was 4,000 yen, slightly cheaper. I mean, there's pros and cons to both. The Blitz has that really cool, super unique look. This one also a really unique look as well. I feel like this one definitely comes with a little bit more in the box, but of course that's why you're paying just slightly more for this one. But either way, I think the Blitz or the Duel or the Buster, all of them so far have been great. So really fantastic line of kits here, no doubt about that. The next one we're going to be taking a look at in the Master Grade Seed lineup is going to be the Impulse Gundam Blanche, the Master Grade P Bandai kit. So that'll be pretty awesome as well. That one's definitely a little bit different also. It's using a different frame, so we've got all that going for it. So that's what we've got up next. And then after that, we'll wrap up this month's focus on Master Grade Seed kits with the Master Grade Astray Blue Frame D. So we still got those two to look forward to. If you guys have any other further questions or comments about this kit, of course, feel free to leave those down there in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.